Thursday, February the 9th. Hope you all had a good day yesterday. I pointed out if you watched the video yesterday, I pointed out some very good plays, and that's very good. Hope you all took heed to that. My night didn't go so well. Played only $4. There was too much going on. I didn't really play too much. So with that being said, let's get off into it. Places where you can find me at. You can go to your app store if you have a phone. You can download Support District Radio, and in Support District Radio, there's a section called My Radio Chicago. You can find me there at approximately 4 o'clock every day. Of course, you can find me on YouTube. You can search Firstdown Podcast. You'll find me there. Once you get there, you can subscribe, and then you can hit the like button. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And there's a notification button that you can push as well. Therefore, you can get notifications when I first come on. You have Facebook. I definitely have a Facebook Firstdown Podcast page. You can like that. You go to my YouTube channel. The links are in the description as well. I also have a Facebook group. We have over 6,000 members in that group. We're helping each other. We're having fun, and we're winning money. You can follow me on Twitter as well. Twitter at Denzel1, and my buddy, my partner in crime, who's not with me right now, but his Twitter is Ming Lee. And I have a wonderful website in draftshot.com that you guys can also check out as well. At DraftShot, these guys are great people. They have some of the best tools and the best help that you can find for any sport. So with that being said, let's jump right into this new slate we have today. We have 5 games on tap. Talking about this first game that we have on tap is Houston and Charlotte. We have totals of 224. Houston by 4.5. Vegas thinks this one's going to be kind of close. Starting right off on the Houston side of things, because that's where we're going to start. Houston is on the road. James Harden is just like a self-explanatory player. Last game he was priced at 12-3, and at like 13-3 or something like that of that nature. He was really high. It was let me see. It was like a 3-game slate, I believe. So that was one of the reasons, the condensed slate and things like that. But he's priced at 12.6 on Fanduel. So these prices similar to the same, and it's like, do you play him or not? On a short slate, do you feel like you need him? Can you fade him? Things of that nature. Last time Houston played, he was 13-3. I paid 3 or 4 lineups. I played him in 2. One of them cashed. I played him in the other 2. One of them didn't cash, and one without him did cash. So, that's how I played it. It was a smaller slate anyway. Getting right back to it, you have Clint Capella, someone who I don't mind. He's been playing really well lately. His minutes are going up, and that's something you want to see. He can provide upside on that 6K price tag. That's another thing you want to see. I remember around this time last year, he's gotten up to about 7K at one point, I believe. And I did roster him. He's coming in at 5,200 on Fanduel, so that's an 8-point difference. And you can definitely price match. TREVOR ARIZA, he's coming off a pretty decent game. Last game, he had 40 fantasy points. Someone who I rarely rosters. And, he logs a ton of minutes, and that's something that you want in daily fantasy because minutes equal opportunity. So that's what you're really looking for. He had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a couple steals, and he provided very nice upside on that price tag. So we see that it can be done for 5,600. We at least want 30, from him to be semi-satisfied. Patrick Beverly, someone who has been semi-consistent, and he can provide upside on that price tag as well. If you don't want James Harden, here's some pieces of the game. These guys, his teammates are pretty cheap. You can get pieces of the game, in this type of way. If you don't want to pay up for Harden, the total is pretty nice. It's juicy enough, to have some consideration in this game, especially on a smaller slate like this. Ryan Anderson, somebody who's just so on and off. He's just a GPP option. And keep an eye out on rests and things like that when it comes to guys like Nene. He's priced very cheap. If he gets a nice amount of minutes, he can definitely return value. But he's like somebody who's just a long shot punt. But it does look like Capella is getting back to Capella, and he's making a case for it, and has a pretty nice price tag at the moment. Moving over to the Charlotte side of things, you got Kemba Walker. He's coming in at 7,900. He has been playing disappointing as of late, and definitely worried about that. He's 7,500 on DraftKings. He will be at home today. Sometimes he can go off at home, and that's something that you need to pay attention to. Bad performances, you have to have a short memory in DFS, but he's definitely in play. Batum, he's in play. He just know how to play basketball. He does multiple things. You can go back and look at the last game. He had 45 points on a 7,600 price tag. He returned, upside, and that's what you want. We know he can give you that. He's still priced at 7,600 on FanDuel. He's priced at 77. I don't mind the play. I like the play. Frank Kaminsky, and keep in mind, keep an eye out on the injury situation with Cody Zeller. The front court over here is pretty small without Zeller. It's forcing Frank Kaminsky to play the 5. He'll probably still have to play the 5 even when even when Cody Zeller comes back. So that's something that you need to keep an eye out on as far as the injury situation with Cody Zeller. Frank Kaminsky has playing well. His price has risen. He went from 4,700 to 5,600. On a slate like this, especially barring the injuries, you keep an eye on the injury situation. He's definitely in play. It's a condensed slate, and that's something we have to keep an eye out on. Marvin Williams, another guy who's playing a ton of minutes. 33, 38, 31, and playing well, providing upside on the price tag, 5,100. So you know we want about the vid value is gonna have to give you like about 20, about 26, but 27. But we want upwards of that. So we're looking for 30, 35 to be happy. Marco Bellinelli, he's coming in on the second unit, and he's been, he can be on and off. 3,900 punt play. Jeremy Lamb, somebody who came in last game, he's recovering from being hurt, and he's recovering from an injury. And yeah, last game they played Brooklyn, he came in, he played 19 minutes. He came in firing, went 6-11 from the field. Like I said, he played 19 minutes, 7 rebounds, a block, a steal. At that price of 3,100, 28 fantasy points. He almost went 10 times, and that's a good thing, man. That's a very good thing. This will be an up-paced game, so there's like fantasy goodness when it comes, from faster-paced games, and I definitely don't mind that. So this is a game that definitely on my radar. Moving over to the Philly and Orlando game. What are the totals I have for this one? Let me see. We have a 211 point total. Orlando by 4.5. Orlando's at home. So with that being said, let's look at the Philly side of things. We got Joel Embiid most likely to be out, so keep an eye out on that. Richaun Holmes, I don't know if he'll be in or out. He was dealing with a injury, or a sickness. So keep an eye on that. He might be ready to go. Yes. Jahlil Okafor, he'll probably get the start again. He played pretty well last night. He had he went 5 for 10 from the field, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks, 34 fantasy points. Plenty of upside on that price tag. That's what we like. I don't mind him today. I definitely don't, based off the minutes alone. And if he can ever get back to his ways, at least like he was last year, especially when he was hurt, he definitely is in play, because his price will rise. But he's stuck behind Joel Embiid, and that's really hindering. He's most likely he's on the trade block, and he's auditioning right now, and for other teams, and teams are pushing offers for him, and it's just a messy situation for him. But unfortunately, he's trying to get mosey his way through things, and that's a good thing. Dario Saric, an interesting play here. Yesterday he played 21 minutes, 26 fantasy points. I like the play today, especially with the injury situations and the personal situations they have going on in Orlando, which we'll get into in a minute. So I like Saric. Robert Covington, interesting play here. This game is interesting as well. So you're looking at Robert Covington. He's coming in at 5,400 on Fanduel. He's priced similarly. He's priced at 5,800. It's a 400 difference right there. He gets the minutes when he plays. He plays, sometimes he plays close to 40 minutes. And like I say, minutes equals opportunity. And I definitely don't mind the play. tomorrow. Just got to keep an eye out on the injury situation in Orlando, which we'll get to in a minute. Like I just said, I like the play though. Ilyasova, he provides, his price is coming down. Number one, he's at 5,600 right now. He was at like 5,800. Then he went to 65. Then he went to 63. Then he came back to 5,500, and now he's at 5,600. Last night he had a mediocre game, 21.9 fantasy points, but we see the upside that he can, provide, and I don't mind the play. So there's right off the back, we're seeing a lot of good plays around, especially in these first two games. So that's something to keep note. The Houston-Charlotte game, the Philly and Orlando game, we're seeing some good plays so far. And we just got to decipher through these plays and try to nail down the ones that are best for us. I'm moving along to the next game. OKC and Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, we have a 218 total. Oklahoma City favored by 2.5. If you're a betting man, because I dabble in betting on sports and things like that. So something to take note. Tyronn Lue, he said there's a possibility the big three can be rested, and that's LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. Now, these guys could be rested, and that's something that that's some good information that you can use right there. So especially when you're betting on games and things like that. So they got Oklahoma City by 2.5. You could probably jump on that ASAP. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm definitely gonna jump on that after this game. After this podcast. So let's move along. Of course, all of these guys are in play if they play. LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. These guys are in play if they play. If they don't play, then, here comes the all-value team. You'll be starting the team off right now like this. Tristan Thompson, he'll be leading it off. And you never know if those guys rest. You don't even know what type of workload Tristan Thompson would get. So you can definitely be cautious with that one. But then you have Shumpert out. He's hopeful to play Saturday. He's trying to target Saturday. So that's another guy that's out. So then that brings up Kyle Korver, Shannon Fry, Kay Fielder, James Jones, Liggins, McRae, the king of preseason, and Jefferson. Just a ton of cheap options that you'll have. And good luck with that. There's going to be tons of value on the slate if these guys sit, if the big three sits. So Korver, he had a very nice game last night. He shot lights out in the absence of Shumpert. He played 26 minutes, 10 for 12 from the field goal, 8 for 9 for 3, 38 fantasy points, 5 rebounds. He shot lights out, and that was a good thing for him. I know he's glad to really show up and show out, because he hadn't had a super good game. So I know he's glad he's got that monkey off his back. But as far as the rest of these guys, you just have to keep an eye out for the injuries, guys, and know your pivots when the injury news really comes out. On the OKC side of things, Russell Westbrook definitely in play. He's priced at 12.7. On Fanduel, he's priced at, let me see, 12.5. So he's similar, he's priced in a similar price point. Victor Oladipo in play. Steven Adams, he's in play. Andre Roberson, he's been playing all right. He's making the right cuts, and he's getting found in that offense, and he's really, he's really been playing well. His last 2 games, he went over 30 fantasy points, 10 times. He went 10 times, 2 games in a row. He's sticking and moving. Russell Westbrook's finding him. He's finding his way to double doubles and things like that. He's really showing up. Proud of him. In his counter out, Jeremy Grant, Joffrey Laverne, Sabonis, and the rest of these guys, they logged a ton of minutes. Like Sabonis, for instance, last game he only played 10 minutes, so his minutes are starting to be up and down now. See, game for that 34 minutes. He's a rookie though, so he's trying to get over this rookie wall. But he is he's pushing it though. He's forcing the issue. He's going out there and he's doing what he can. So I don't knock him for that. Take a look at Joffrey Laverne. Coming in at 3,200. He's been in the league for a few years, so he's played 20 minutes here, 17 minutes there, 29 minutes there, 14 minutes there. He's hitting value. Given the minutes, he can hit value, and he can show you upside on that price tag going up against that Cleveland team. Somebody you have to really, really keep an eye out on, but there's plenty of value on the slate. You don't really have to look there. Now we're going to keep it moving as far as we're going over to the Utah and Dallas game. We're going to look at the totals for this one. We got a very low total coming in at 192. Utah by 2.5. Dallas is at home. So let's look at the Utah side of things. Okay, Utah coming off a back-to-back. So they had a good game last night against the New Orleans Pelicans, where they dismantled them. So this game here is it's going to be like a pace down game. 2 slower paced teams. A lot of defensive struggles are going to be going on in this game, and I like to tend to turn to big men in those situations. So right off the back, I'm looking at Rudy Gobert. Yesterday, he played 30 minutes, went 4 of 10 for the field, had 39 fantasy points, produced really well on that 6,900 price tag. He did all right. Someone who I didn't mind pointing him out. He was a nice play yesterday. I don't mind him today. Let me see. Last time these two teams met at Dallas, he had 66 fantasy points. Dallas is just a very bad rebounding team, so keep that in mind. Gordon Hayward, he has a tough matchup, but with Hood out and everything like that, he's definitely in play. He's just a very nice play. You can see what he had 44 fantasy points last time these two teams met. Yesterday was like a blowout. He had 31 fantasy points there, 50 fantasy points against Atlanta, 48 fantasy points against Charlotte, 47 fantasy points against Milwaukee. So at 7,300, he can provide major upside on that price tag. I definitely don't mind the play. Derrick Favors is still playing limited minutes. I wonder if he's going to get back to full strength. Hope so. Hopefully he does. He's coming in at 5K. He just played 25 minutes last game, and then the game before that, he played 26 minutes. So it looks like, his minutes have been creeping, So that's something to keep an eye out on. He played 26 minutes against this team last game, and he only put out 11 fantasy points. So that Rodney Hood, he's out. Then you got Joe Ingles. It's hard to nail these guys that I'm getting ready to talk about now. It's hard to nail them down. And what I mean is Joe Johnson and Ingles. We got Alec Burks on a minutes limit. Ingles, it's like one or the other. It's hard for me to catch these guys. So, for instance, Joe Johnson, last game he played 24 minutes in the blowout, and then he had 35 fantasy points. 10 times on that. He's priced at 3,500. He went 10 times, and that was a good thing right there. He had been playing well against Charlotte and Milwaukee. He had 2 back-to-back nice games. Here's where I came in at. That game against Atlanta is where I played him, and he gave me 12 fantasy points. I was on him, in the absence of Hood. I just missed him. And then yesterday he goes off against New Orleans for 35 fantasy points. So he is getting playing time. It's just you have to catch him right. It's just a cheap option, a punt option, George Hill. He had a pretty nice game last game. He'll most likely get to guard Yogi Ferrell. And he's a pretty good defender. Someone who can give you upwards of 30 fantasy points. So he's somebody to keep an eye on. Now, let's go over to the Dallas side of things. Darren Williams, I believe he's more doubtful than questionable. You have to keep an eye out on that. Yeah, you just got to keep an eye out on that. If he's out, if Darren Williams is out, then Yogi Ferrell, he's probably going upwards of 30, 35 minutes. As you can see, I can show you now. His last, since he's been there, he's played 35 minutes, 39 minutes, 38 minutes. 38 minutes. So he just signed that 2 year. He just signed that 2-year contract, and he is definitely they're definitely getting their money worth out of him. He is playing a ton of minutes. Anyway, he's coming in at 5K. Just 5K. So his price is down a whole $1,000, and I know they condensed it a little bit because of who they're going up against in Utah. So they probably condensed his price. On FanDuel, he's priced at, let me see what his price is on FanDuel for you guys. $5,700. So I don't mind the play at 5K. So as the day goes down and the day progresses, I have to really meditate on it. But I definitely don't mind the play. I don't mind that play for somebody who's going to be running the offense. But just a pace down game, and you might be able to find more speed and and a little bit better value in another spot. But going back to the top, we're looking at Harrison Barnes. Coming in at 6K. Somebody who I don't mind playing, but, like I said, this game, but somebody has to go out and do the dirty work. Can't shy away from, these plays. You got to look. He's priced at 6K. Hit value, he's got to get us 30. And, to exceed, he's got to get us 36 or better. 6 times, he got to give us 36 or better. Last time these two teams played, he played 40 minutes. As you can see, he played 40 minutes. He hit value, This time around, they'll be at home. So I don't mind if you fire him up. I don't mind if you fire him up. Wesley Matthews, another guy who plays a ton of minutes. I might be able to find better value at that price. Dirk Nowitzki, interesting play. He is off the minutes limit. You get a Dirk Nowitzki at 5K. Last game he played 30 minutes against Portland, and he put up 41 fantasy points. Awesome output from him. So, Dirk is still Dirk. Last time these two teams played, he played 25 minutes. He went 1 for 13. He had a very bad game. He produced 15 fantasy points, and he was priced at 5,400. He was a little higher, but this time they're at home, so it might mean a little something. But he's been playing pretty well as of late. So especially last game, he had 41 fantasy points. So, but this game here will be kind of slow paced and paced down and condensed. So that's something to keep in consideration. But he's Dirk. I definitely wouldn't mind firing him up, especially coming off a minutes restriction. Seth Curry, someone who I probably won't be on. He had a string of some nice games, and he was tearing it up. Last time he played Utah, he played 30 minutes and had 22 fantasy points. He's priced at 4,900. Let me see what he's priced at on Fanduel. 5,300. So, there you have it. And then, they got a bunch of cheaper options in Devin Harris, Salah Mejri. Interested to see what Salah Mejri did last game. I don't know if Bogut played that game or not, but it looks like Bogut is still out. Salah Mejri only played 12 minutes. So there you have that. Anyway, this game has a very low total, and most of the time Vegas are usually right, so I wouldn't be mad at you if you didn't go nowhere near that game. But it's such a small slate that you can't hardly rule anyone out, so you have to nail down the picks and do the best that you can. Coming in at Boston, you got the Boston and Portland, the last game of the night, the Hammer game. We're looking at a total of, let me see, 220. Portland by 1.5. Portland favored by 1.5 at home. Okay, let's jump right into it. Boston coming off a heartbreaking loss. I know DeMarcus Cousins is sitting back smiling at his team right now as they just beat the Boston Celtics last night. Yes, they did, without Rudy Gay and DeMarcus Cousins. So Darren Collison had a pretty nice game. It was a collective. It was a collective thing. They came through. They pulled it out. So Boston, they're coming off an emotional loss. So, and they'll be on a back-to-back. So I'm quite sure they'll be looking to get back on a good foot. So let's jump right into this one. You got Isaiah Thomas coming in at 10K, and yes, he's a play, definitely a play. On FanDuel, he's priced at, let me see, 10.5, similar price, 500 difference. Al Horford, he's in play. This should be a competitive game. Hopefully, it should be a competitive game, man. This is especially from a sports fan, a basketball fan standpoint. I'll definitely be tuned in to this one. One of the better games on the slate. Jay Crowder in play. I like to play. Marcus Smart. Avery Bradley is out. Marcus Smart, an interesting play here. He's coming in at 5,500. So, we know we need some upside on this price tag. At 5,500, right around 27, 28 is right where value is for him. We know he can go above that. Last time he went, a couple games ago, he had 32 fantasy points, and then against LA and against Toronto, he had 27 fantasy points. That was right around value for him. Kelly Olynyk, somebody who last night he had a pretty nice game. He can put up fantasy points in a hurry. He's an athletic. He's pretty athletic, for his size. 3,700. Doesn't need much to hit value. Then you got Jaylen Brown. There's just a lot of guys over here that can give you return value, but it's hard to decipher their minutes. You got AMIR Johnson coming in at 3,200, and he can get up close to 30 minutes any given night. And you can really miss out on that. Last two games he's played upwards of 25, 28 minutes, and he's produced 27 fantasy points here, 22 fantasy points there on that price tag. That 32 and 3,300 price tag is very cheap. So that's another value play. Jaylen Brown, another value play. Someone who's getting minutes, and he can return value, especially in up-paced games. So he's another person you can look at that I probably won't be on. I probably wouldn't need, but if you're looking that way. Al Horford, last night he didn't have a great game last night. You could probably try to. You got to have a short memory. He was 7,200. He got his minutes. Just a tough break for him. 22 fantasy points. He'll be looking to bounce back. As you can see, his last games he's been kind of like tearing it up. So we know what he can do. He's definitely in play on a slate like this. Jay Crowder as well. So after I get done with this slate, I will give you guys my favorite plays from each team or from each game, I'd say. So with that, let's move over to the Portland side of things. You got Damian Lillard. He's coming in at 8,900. He's coming off a monster game. On Fanduel, he's 8,500. I definitely love the play. I'm not a big fan of the defense I'm not a fan of Damian Lillard's defense, or I'm not a fan of Isaiah Thomas's defense. So Lillard is definitely in play at home. Last game he played like 40 minutes, 12 for 22 from the field, couple steals, assists, a couple rebounds, what gave him 49 fantasy points. He showed back-to-back great games, so keep that in mind. He might be starting to pick up his pace, and that's a good thing. Injury to Evan Turner. It's unfortunate. He'll be out, I think, 4 to 5 weeks. So he was handling the ball quite a bit. He actually took over that spot from Marcus Harkless. So you could probably look to Harkless probably going back into the starting lineup. So that's something that you can keep an eye out on, CJ McCollum, priced at 7,800. The dude knows how to ball. What's his price on FanDuel? He's priced at 8,200. The guy knows how to ball. He's got a sweet shot. He gets his attempts. And with Evan Turner, he was handling the ball a lot. And CJ McCollum and Dame was playing off the ball a lot. So you're going to look to Evan Turner being out. So the ball handling capabilities will be on CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. So you can look for a little bit more usage to go around, just a little bit more, you know. I definitely like to play. Mason Plumlee, very athletic big man. I really like Mason Plumlee. He's coming in at 6,400. So on FanDuel, he's priced at 6,800. A condensed slate. I don't mind him. We have 5 games today. We don't have many choices, but I definitely don't mind him in a faster paced game. 6,400. He's got to give us around, 32. But we want like that 35, 40 from him. Definitely, we do. Aminu. He's getting the minutes. The production has been there. He's been a solid play. He's coming in at 5,300. I don't mind the play. I like the play. Alan CRABBE, and Maury Harkless. Maury Harkless, his minutes should rise on account of the absence of Evan Turner. 4K. I don't know if I'll be interested in playing him though, but I definitely have to point that out. Alan CRABBE, a GPP flyer. You don't know when he's going off at 4,200. You don't know when he's going off. He's just so inconsistent, but he does get minutes. And with that being said, guys, we made it to the end of this video, this 5-game slate. And for all my listeners out there and all of my viewers and the guys, the fans listening on the radio, I've greatly appreciated you guys. Let's go out and win some money. But before we leave, I will give you guys my favorite plays from each game. Yesterday, I gave out my favorite plays, and it was just it was a hit. I probably missed on two or three guys, but we had a big 12-game slate. You can't really just nail down everybody. So jumping right off into this Houston and Charlotte game, I know Kemba Walker, he's just kicking himself, man. His performances have been really down as of late, and 7,900, he's got to give us close to 40. So you keep that in mind. If you can find, better options and value elsewhere, I don't mind. If you want to just scoot on over and pay up for Damian Lillard, I don't mind. He's not my favorite play, but this is the NBA. Anybody can go off, Favorite play over here, I have to go with the Capella. I'm going with somebody cheap. Batum, I love Batum almost every night for what he can do. His upside is there, and these are two guys that I really like. James Harden is self-explanatory. I really like Batum and Capella. On the Philadelphia and Orlando side of things, you know what? And I didn't even cover Orlando's side. Vucevic's price has risen. I don't mind the play, especially if we can nail down his minutes. His minutes has been fluctuating. It's been going up and down, up and down. His price is going up it's going up. We can't afford to pay for 24 minutes at, 7,700, So hopefully, the coach got his minutes together, and, we can see that upwards of 38 minutes. I wouldn't mind. I'll definitely fire him up all the time. But he's really in play today. Going up against the Philly without Embiid, fire him up. I like to play, Serge Ibaka in play. Aaron Gordon, he's questionable. You have to keep an eye out on that injury situation. And Jeff Green, he was out for personal reasons. I believe he just had a child. Congrats for him. Okay. Favorite plays from this game? I got to come with some favorite plays from this game. Serge Ibaka, he's been tearing it up, right? Three out of the last 4 games. Probably 4 out of the last 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah. 4 out of 5 last games, he went for 40 fantasy points. That's awesome. If you've been riding with him, good job for you. He's coming in at 6,800. I like to play. Is he one of my favorite plays? I don't know. There's a lot of cheap options, in this game. But for pure volume alone, the only guard over there, I'm going to say Evan Fournier, the only 2 guard over there worth playing. And Orlando, I love the play. Vucevic, I like that play. I don't mind TJ McConnell because of price considerations and Ersan Ilyasova. It's a lot of plays. It's hard for me to just pinpoint one over here. Two bad teams. Anything can happen. Moving over to OKC and Cleveland. Westbrook is, he's self-explanatory. He's just someone who tears it up. I don't even have to go into that. LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving most likely will sit tonight. As of right now, it's not been final, so keep an eye on on that situation. If they do end up playing, then I like Kyrie, and Love and LeBron James. But, I'm quite sure those guys will be resting. But like I said, keep an eye out on that situation. If those guys rest, then and then with Shumpert already out, and like I say, I probably wouldn't even roster Tristan Thompson, because he might see a few minutes and end up resting as well. So my favorite play would probably come out of there being somebody like Oladipo was another play I would like. Shannon Fry, but it's a sticky situation. I'd rather wait. That's a sticky situation. I'd rather wait to see what Coach Tyronn Lue does. Utah and Dallas. Favorite plays over here is definitely Rudy Gobert. I just like big men again in slow-paced games. Dirk Nowitzki. At that price point, give me some Dirk. Those are probably my 2 favorite plays. And the last game on the slate, we're looking at Boston and Portland. I'm just gonna go out and Isaiah Thomas and Damian Lillard. I'm looking for these guys to put on the show, and hopefully I'm right. But those are my 2 favorite plays from that game, and I don't mind CJ McCollum and Horford. You can get there's so much value on the slate. You can stack this game, and so anything can happen. So guys, it's been a pleasure. You guys listening. I appreciate the feedback and everything. And tune in tomorrow as well. I appreciate the love, guys. And with that being said, I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.